Hello, I'm Gareth Jones, and it's my very great pleasure to welcome PSP into my little shed at Strongroom. Like many people, I've got so many plugins now, like many professionals, I've got so many plugins now that it's just a ridiculously big toolkit. It's super fun, but keeping on top of it is challenging, and finding the time to explore everything is challenging. So quite often I grab a tool, and if it works, I just move on. And if it doesn't work, that's when I try and grab another tool. Limits promoting extra creativity. Yeah, and there's great classic old EQs, aren't there? But basically have two knobs, or like an old the MEQ, the Pultec, the middle frequency Pultec. I mean, the thing about the old Pultecs is not that they have millions of knobs, but they sound amazing when you turn the knobs. That's like a huge bonus, isn't it? I mean, I know there's room for surgical EQ with 20 bands and different, and there are some wonderful engineers who use that in a super creative way. It kind of does my head in, because I just don't really have that workflow, because I come from an analog soul and an analog tradition, and I will use specific cuts sometimes, but it's I guess it's a different tool. It's just a different tool. It has all tools have their place. You know, the 20-band EQ with everything adjustable has its place, just as the 3-band EQ, or whatever this is here, the 4-band EQ with very simple controls also has its place, because it just sounds amazing when you turn the knobs, you know. We're lucky in DAWs because we can stack plugins, can't we? So if we want to do something more complicated, we can, bounce or bounce in place or commit or whatever you want to call it, depending, and then we can reprocess. And I think a lot of people do that, and that's really rich for me as well, processing sound and then reprocessing it. I've definitely experienced that in my own project that I've been working on last year, where the way that the audio develops and grows throughout the process there might be quite a number of different iterations that it's gone through. But I'm very used to that. I like to commit audio and then manipulate it later, because it comes from the analog workflow, where you had to, because you couldn't keep your options open. You would record something with as much vibe as you could, and then if you wanted to treat it later, you would bounce it to another track with another set of effects on it, or another set of treatments, which you would also commit to, because you just didn't have the space to keep the original. Brian Eno said a really great thing. Obviously, Mr. Eno said many great things. One of the great things that he said about working on tape, for instance, analog tape, is that the only person who romanticizes working on analog tape is someone who hasn't actually done it. So I made a record last year with my friend Jan Tiersen, where he wanted to do a complete analog record, where we recorded on multi-track tape, mixed it analog to 1/4-inch tape, and then mastered it to vinyl without any digital pre-delay for the cutter head. So we did it kind of old school, and it's a beautiful journey that we had making the record. And I had an insight about halfway through, and I was reminded, because you spoke about the thing about digital is it's handcrafted, but then you can make a perfect copy. And with an original master tape, there's something magical about it. It's also handcrafted, but the copy's never as good as the original. Whereas there's a certain magic in carrying around a multi-track analog tape, because that is it's like a Kunstwerk, a piece of art. It's like an original sculpture. You could copy it, but the copy wouldn't be the same. So it's subtle. Obviously, it's great that we can copy digital. It makes me very relaxed that I can make a perfect safety copy. All of us, everyone who, GitHub, whatever you use, iterations, copies, safeties, it's super important. But still, there's something magical about an irreplaceable original. Like Anthony's an irreplaceable original. We can't replace him, right? Like me, I'm irreplaceable. We're all irreplaceable. Adam, Julius, we're all irreplaceable individuals because we're not digital. Yet.